Hello, live people.
Hi, people.
We are going to start a GoFundMe for Matanuco. He has been homeless now for 2 months.
That's
I
why
used
the
to buy my
background.
fancy wine.
I think it's even worse than homeless. I think he's evolving into a hipster.
So it's by choice.
That's right.
It's even
Right.
worse.
It's a human
worse.
protest.
It's worse than we thought.
Got all my flannels, and you should see how tight my jeans are. It's impressive.
Oh, buddy.
One trip to the Northwest, and
That's what it is, too.
That's right. Get all that cannabis up there, man. It's legit.
Oh, buddy. We are live. Oh, there it is. All right. I didn't know the tweet was there. All right. All right. You guys ready?
Go ahead and take that copywritten catchphrase and get to it.
Add that to the agenda.
Yep. All right. Ready? 3, 2, 1. What's going on, everybody? It is Friday, February 8th, and you have found the Pinwheels and Ivy podcast. I am your host, Matt Zawoski. They call me Zoe, and with me, as always, are my three amigos. We got Aldo Soto,
what's up?
Matt Hipster Nuco.
I'm surprised you can hear me through my beard.
Very surprised. And fresh off a dry January, it is now February 8th. Mr. K Fizz, what's going on in Vegas, buddy?
It's a little wet.
That can be taken in so many different ways. So we have
All positive.
We have a jam-packed show for you. A lot of stuff going on since we last talked. We're gonna talk about the rule changes that are being proposed. Probably not going to happen, but we're still going to argue it just because me and Nuke don't agree on any of them. Then we're going to talk about the JT Realmuto trade, how that affects the rest of the league. If there's anything going to come from that, is that the first domino that fell, or is it just kind of a trade? Then we have to, unfortunately, talk about a racist old white dude because Mr. Ricketts, not a good look. And, of course, because it's a day that ends in Y, we're going to talk about some Manny Machado rumors. So all that being said, let's use the catchphrase I've been using now for 3 years, Bud Light, dicks. Let's tap this keg. This show is brought to you by Sports Mockery, sportsmockery.com for all your Cubs Sox news. Make sure you download the app and put on those push notifications. You'll be the first one to know when Manny does sign with the White Sox or if the Cubs steal Bryce Harper for a 2-year deal. But you're going to have to go sportsmockery.com, push notifications, put them on. And also, the show is brought to you by Tick Blitz, TIXBLITZ, tickblitz.com. Go there, no hidden fees, guaranteed tickets for all events, not just sports. You got shows, concerts, everything. Tickblitz.com, no bullshit, great seats. And the tickblitz.com stat of the week is the PECOTA. The PECOTA projections came out today. Not good for Chicago fans. They have the White Sox at 70-92, finishing in 4th place in the AL Central. I'm pretty sure the people over there just copy and paste that every year. And then they have this is the more surprising to me, is the Cubs at 82-80, 3rd place in the NL Central.
The computers hate Chicago baseball. Wow.
Apparently, I don't know what we did, but that is your tickblitz.com stat of the week, TIXBLITZ.com, TickBlitz. Go there, get your tickets. I'm probably going to get my opening day tickets pretty darn soon for the White Sox. Get them before Manny signs because they're going to be cheaper. See, that's because I'm smart.
Smart.
Yep. All right, fellas. Now that the business is all taken care of, let's just dive in here. The big topic this week, I guess, in baseball Twitter is these proposed rule changes. Now, some say it's because they're losing their audience because of how slow the game is, things like that. Baseball is just trying to look to shake it up, but in recent memory, this is some of the most drastic rule changes that I've seen even be put on the slate. So let's start with the most ridiculous one, and we'll work our way to less ridiculous. So the most ridiculous one is moving back the pitcher's mound. They say they want to move it back and they want to lower it.
Who's the one who proposed
They
that? Was
always-
it that the league or is that the union?
I don't.
I think the league, the union, was the one. Is that
Hate
right?
it.
We're all about facts here.
That's yeah.
Whoever it is, hate it.
Yeah, hate it. That's just dumb. It's not going to happen.
Makes no sense in a health system, like health wise. Shit.
Right. I mean,
Yeah.
Changes how every single pitcher's learned to throw an off-speed pitch, how to deliver, how to.
They have, like for years, every so often they talk about height, lowering it a little bit and that stuff. But
moving it back, that's ridiculous. Guys have been working for this their whole life.
Wasn't it
but if
paired?
you think about this, it's 60 feet 6 inches, right? What if
Right.
you made it 61 feet?
Nope.
Just 6 inches.
And
6
lower-
inches is going to change a lot in the game.
If you move 6 inches and lower it, it could slightly counteract. But
Wasn't it also like they were gonna make the strike zone smaller?
Yeah. Make the strike zone smaller. They just didn't they expand it last year with like
Right.
up?
Well, now they're going the other way. I don't know.
It didn't work. It didn't work.
It-
Put it back.
it feels like this is a justifiable shift to adjust the entire game to the current fad of launch angles and exit velocity.
Yeah, 'cause
Yeah.
that is the hot stat right now. Every
That's-
time someone hits a ball, what's the exit velocity on that?
And that launch angle is everything now. So if you lower it a couple, you could take it down from 10 to 8. All of a sudden, that launch angle, you're throwing a flat ground to the 6'5" guys, as opposed to that nice downward angle where you actually have somewhat of an advantage. I think I talked to a major league guy today. He was actually at our practice, and he said that a lot of those guys are on board with actually lowering it because it's going to actually help with
It's going to
health.
help ride, and it's going to help in that high missing bats high, right?
He cited health reasons.
too.
Health reasons.
Oh,
That was I'm like, okay, whoa.
All right, I can.
well, that makes sense, right? I
That
mean,
makes
you can long toss every single day on flat ground. You can air it out, but you throw off the bump 10 pitches and you're down for a day, right?
lowering it. Okay, you guys, fair enough. That's why we talk these things out. Lowering it. Okay, I can
We
do it.
want to hate it. We
Moving
want
it
to
back.
hate it to do it. All right.
No, I hate moving it back. Still
Oh,
hate
okay.
moving it back. Not going to get on board with that. But
Think
lowering
about the money.
since you just messed me up with some math, that makes sense. So
Think about the money alone that to move the mound back 6 inches. The money alone that teams. It's not crazy. I know it's not crazy amounts of money, but would it really make a difference? Think about hitters. That would throw the entire game off moving it back.
well, it's a lot of timing issues. It's going to give hitters a little bit more
Right.
to see
The
the ball,
fractional second, yeah.
and it's just. I think that's the
Well,
whole.
I'm sure they've got some kind of like little stat nerd in a cave somewhere that says, listen, everything would even out. The 100-mile-an-hour ball, the 100-mile-an-hour fastball would become a 95-mile-an-hour fastball.
It'll speed up the game too.
difference.
Yeah, it'll speed up the game.
Speed up the game if we move it back.
The 100-mile-an-hour fastball versus a 95-mile-an-hour fastball. That's a big difference.
Oh yeah, it is. But that's what I'm saying. Like they've got to have some stat nerd in there with algorithms and triangulation
You know
from
what,
each
guys?
stadium saying that like
Love
6
me some
inches
triangulation.
would translate, would make that 100-mile-an-hour fastball, which it really isn't even a problem anyway. They're trying to make a problem where there isn't one because 100 and fast to these guys, they're still turning it around, or 100 and straight, 100 and fast, 100 and straight. Thank you for laughing at that because I was like, I definitely said something I wasn't supposed to.
Hey, we were letting you go. You were being very serious, but I think them jeans might be cutting off that circulation.
But 95 and slow is easier to hit.
Yes.
So,
right.
so I'm actually going the other way on this. Like lower the mound, back it up, more offense, more hitting, less walks. Let's go.
Kevin knows there's a B8 and slow.
Yeah.
True.
So the second rule change.
Sounds different.
Now this one seems to have brought up a lot of confusion because people, shocker, didn't read the whole rule proposal, and they got real butthurt online real quick. And it's like, well, no, if you read it, they explain what happens in that scenario. But the rule is that there's going to be a minimum of 3 batters faced if you put a pitcher in the game. So no more just bringing the righty to face the lefty, bringing the lefty to face the right. You can't just keep doing one-on-one matchups. If you put a pitcher in, he has to face 3 batters. Now, the first thing that comes up is, well, what happens if there's a guy on first and there's 1 out and the guy goes into a double play? No, it says in the rule that if the guy ends the inning, you can change him at the inning. The whole purpose of this is to limit the amount of pitching changes in an inning. It's a pace of play thing. It all comes down to that, and everything here has money undertones. It's all money undertones.
And they're trying to pair it right with mound visits as well, right? Trim it down to like 4 per game as opposed to 6.
But that was the big thing. People, they start throwing out all these scenarios. They covered that. They didn't just. Some guy wasn't just like sitting there pounding IPAs like, hey, you know what? 3 batter minimum. No, this was like well thought out, well placed. They thought of every scenario. I don't mind this because there's nothing. It's super frustrating to me, especially when it's like a game in like early June that has no real playoff significance. I know every game counts, but I'm just saying, like,
yeah, ask the Cubs about that. So
yeah, that's
spoken like a Sox fan.
Too soon. When it's like in the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning take 3 hours on their own just because they bring in a new pitcher to face each batter individually. And because now there's all these specialists, it's becoming more and more predominant.
Well, I love this rule. I love this rule because, like you were saying, this eliminates bullpenning.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Or reduces it a little bit, which I hate, and which happened, in the postseason a little bit. I can't remember the team right now,
Brewers.
but the Brewers were doing it, right? They were like
they started Wade Miley for like
everybody
one
gets,
and then they took him out in the first inning.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Craig Counsell was doing it a lot, so I hate that, and that slows games down more than anything. Pitching changes. Mound visits, I think, are important, and I don't really like limiting them too much because there's a lot that goes on in mound visits, like arguing balls and strikes and trying to prove a point and stuff. There's other things that doesn't slow the game down that much. Like umpires can handle that. It's the pitching change. So I totally love it. I love come in. You got to see 3 batters.
You got to wait for dude to run in from the outfield, and he's got to sit there and he throws his warm-up pitches, and then you get the batter. Okay, maybe he throws 2 pitches to the guy. The guy hits a fly ball. He's out. And now you got to do that all over again. It takes everything is pace of play. And that is a huge thing that they can fix. And I think that's an easy fix. I don't mind that rule.
It works well too. Because obviously in inning ends, you can go ahead and move on to another guy. But when you're talking about a guy, the only time you're going to be yanking a guy now, really matchup wise, is if he's getting lit. Anyway, you're gonna want to yank a guy if he's faced 5 batters in a third of an inning. Bye bye. At that point, you're pulling them not because it's a strategic move like lefty or whatever the splits. You're going, hey, hold on, dude sucks. He doesn't have it today. Oh, he's just literally walked the bases loaded. Get him the hell out of there. That's right. Actually where it plays. That makes you actually kind of live with your decision a little bit, which. Mm-hmm. Plays well. Now again, mound visits, you're right. Mound visits are, but I mean, what happens, in the end, how long are these commercial breaks? Like, how long does it take for these guys to get, all this stuff to speed up the game. Yeah. They're not willing to go to like the old 2-minute break between innings, like where you've got 4 commercials, 30 seconds apiece, back to the ball game. Let's go. Those guys, they've got 4 minutes or whatever it is now between innings. The revenue for the ads, we'll speed up the game. Totally. But we're not gonna pull back on the
only so far. Yeah. Yep. I think instituting that. Go ahead.
I was going to say, if it came down to speeding up the game and they're worried about ad revenue, I'm sorry, and I know I'm going to get blowback for this. I don't care. Throw a freaking logo on the jerseys. Make the difference there. Make the game faster.
Boo! Digital animation and green screen all over the park. It's not hard. You can find ways to do it.
Soccer doesn't.
People don't want to DH, even though it's
soccer doesn't stop.
50 years in American League.
It's 45 minutes constant. I think that's better.
Fans are gonna want. Fans are gonna want logos on jerseys.
No. I want they do it. If we're talking about turning the game here into the way it is down in the Caribbean leagues, like They do that. They've got logos all over their stuff.
Logos on their jerseys, except for Major League Baseball.
I love it.
And you know what?
Turn it into the minor leagues. I want like 100 like
billboard
ads.
Billboard. Well, I mean, we've got Goose Island for the White Sox. Yeah. No, but like you said, you can green screen it. You can just put them on there, and you can, do scrolling ads behind home plate, all kinds of stuff.
I don't imagine the White Sox would be cheap. Maybe we put an Ivy logo on the White Sox sleeve.
I mean, we all know how long a baseball game is, and we know how much dead time there is. It's easy to just do like the who does it, like the NASCAR races and the IndyCar races. They just do like the split screen commercial, and they still show like.
It'd be like the internet. Like right now, there's going to be a little banner ad that pops up on the bottom right-hand part of your screen. Kevin, I love your idea, and I think that baseball fans would like to stay with the game in between innings.
Little picture-in-picture.
Well, why not? Why not see, warm-up pitches, guys throwing, taking warm-up ground balls. You can do interviews in between innings like that. You can do little field, things all terrible. But at the same time, it used to bother me in professional baseball that they were like, don't hustle out of the dugout. Take your time. It was like, just like, as soon as that third out is made, I'm grabbing my shit and I'm going.
Yep.
And that's the way I was programmed. You take 5 ground balls, you chuck them across, you catch the throw down, get it in, let's go. And the game moves. It keeps the players involved, the pitchers even get out there, throw your 5 to 6 pitches, whatever, chuck it down and let's go.
I'll one-up you. I'll say the performance of play will increase and improve because they're going to be in a better rhythm. They're going to be less inclined to have those timeouts inside their brain and their mental toughness. Absolutely. And they're going to play good baseball. I think it'll actually improve the quality of product.
I completely agree with you. And MLB better credit us.
Nuke, I'm going to agree with you. So hold on a second. So we saw the commercial with the live feed. We saw it during the Super Bowl. We saw it during the NFL playoffs. We're seeing it in golf all the time now. Mm-hmm. Why couldn't they do that in baseball if it improves speed? I think we just fixed baseball. Seriously,
dude, all that dead time between like pitches and between batters. Hell, do that between batters. It's the whatever ad for this batter.
You know what? Mike players up. Yeah, Mike players up too.
Oh,
well, I'm all for that.
Under the bases.
I'm all for that. That your ass is in the jackpot video still getting views.
What about some Google Glasses?
No. Do they even still have those?
Have you seen? So actually, with hockey this year, they did that. They've placed at NA or the CES or whatever. They actually attached cameras to like the goalie and each player, small, again, microscopic, basically cameras on their jersey, sewn into the jersey, and you could actually tune into whichever player you'd like to see from their perspective. So you could actually tune into Bryce Harper out in right field as he's waiting between pitches, and.
See, and I don't understand why they haven't, and I know we're kind of getting off topic here, but I don't know why they haven't done that with catchers' masks yet already.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why wouldn't they put that?
Like, if you don't want to do it on a catcher, do it from like the umpire, like the home plate umpire.
One problem though that doesn't want to see 100-mile-an-hour fastball come in.
One problem they had too was Yachty said it was too boring, and he kept getting pine tar stuck to the camera, so
couldn't get it off my hand.
All right, so.
We're
fixing baseball right now, so let's keep this gravy train rolling. MLB just cut the check to Pinwheels and Ivy. We'll split it up. You and Bud Light can go half these. So let's get weird. Let's talk about the one that's causing the most hell.
How do you spell it again?
The universal DH.
Oh, yeah, that's what it was. DH.
So is that like an official offer?
They want to add the DH to the National League. We put this up on a vote with the Twitter poll at Pinwheels Ivy Pod on Twitter. Follow us, jerks. 566 votes, and yes is got 70% of the vote. So suck it, nerds.
Roy Oswald doesn't like it. Noah Syndergaard doesn't like it.
Yep.
Cool.
He's Thor.
So there's been a lot of very strong opinions about this, both sides of the coin. I've been indirectly called a unsophisticated rube. Yes, that was fun. So I mean, there's the biggest thing I guess going against it is you get the purist, the strategic part of the game. And my favorite was a beat writer put like, you're gonna take away double switches, and some guy commented like, yeah, I brought my 6-year-old to his first baseball game, and he goes, holy shit, Dad, did you see that double switch? Like I was started laughing my ass
I'll say
off.
it's the greatest kid ever, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome kid. Your kid's badass if he says that.
First thing I'm teaching Julian, my
Not
son.
hit ball far, throw ball hard.
And I also appreciate everyone that replied to my tweet a list of the 7 pitchers that can hit in baseball.
If somebody sends a fucking gif of Bartolo Colon hitting a home run after
Right.
like
Like,
20
come on.
years in the league, like, shut up. Madison Bumgarner is like the one guy who gets used all the time.
And Jake
Like
Arrieta-
Adam Engel is an MVP compared to Madison Bumgarner. So just shut the hell up about how Madison Bumgarner has 12 career home runs in like 10 years.
He's a better hitter
Oh,
than
yeah,
Dylan Ross. Or most catchers that hit 200 in his career.
That was a very uncalled for shot at Adam Engel, by the way, Mr. Aldo.
Dakota has him hitting 208 and starting in center
Did you
field.
see the slash line for pitchers last year?
Yes.
They
So-
hit
terrible.
098.
So that's like what, 50 points better than like defensive catchers?
No,
They hit
098. 098. Oh,
098. 098.
Oh,
Get
not
better. Get better.
198. Oh,
Get better.
Get better.
They're
Practice.
getting paid to pitch.
They got you can't throw 150 pitches every bullpen. You got plenty of time to go work on stuff.
The game
Go
plan.
get better.
Time out.
This is
They
good.
do
This is-
really-
we have a tag team. We have a 2-on-2 tag team.
Shoot.
This is good.
Just so everyone is clear listening to this, Kevin and Nuke are anti-DH. Me and Aldo are smart, and we are for the DH. So this is what we're going to do, because otherwise it's just going to be 4 guys screaming over each other for the next 20 minutes.
Isn't that entertainment? Isn't that
Ain't
what Colin
nobody-
Coward?
No, no one wants to listen to that shit. So what we're going to do is everyone's going to get like a 2 to 3 minute soapbox on this issue. Okay? No interruptions, no rebuttals. You just get to say your piece, and we're going to move it down the line.
Did you just
Zero
call
fun.
timeout?
Zero
Yeah.
fun.
Did you just make it a Socratic discussion?
No,
Pretty
so we're
much.
Oh,
gonna do that, and then
I'm on the debate team now.
then we can discuss, because all 4 of us screaming over each other. People probably, if you're still listening to this pod, God bless you, because people don't want to hear 4 dudes screaming on each other. So, Nuke, I know
you're
you're
gonna-
listening.
takes all kinds.
Go ahead, Nuke.
All right.
I'm gonna get a stop clock.
Old
Stop
man's gonna yell at a cloud here.
I know. We're just gonna get this. We're gonna go 1 from each team, though. We're gonna go back and forth. So, although you're on deck. All right,
I don't
ready?
even need 2 minutes. All
You got
right,
2 minutes. Ready?
Clock.
Go.
damn clock. Put me on that 20-second in between pitches thing. Yeah. Listen, here's my deal. If pitchers hit .098 last year, it's because teams aren't valuing them and they aren't demanding that they be productive at the plate. And we see that every time Kyle Hendricks goes up to the plate, he looks like the most bored human being on earth. That is not baseball. That's not what you're supposed to do. Go up and compete. Madison Bumgarner competes. He's a pretty darn good hitter. They, like Kevin said earlier, there's only so many pitches you can throw in a bullpen. So, and only so much long tossing and only so much running. Go hit a ball off a tee. Learn how to bunt. Do something productive at the plate. And on top of that, there is that nuance of you have to, it's a hole in the lineup. It's something you have to work around. Stop jacking off there, Zoe. It's just you interrupted.
1 minute.
Anyway, that's my baseball purist of it. If it was just 9 hitters, and I think the DH is an abomination, quite frankly, I just don't like it, because then you have these specialists. You have David Ortiz, Edgar Martinez. Yeah, they're good hitters, but are they complete players? Not necessarily in baseball. And I'm done.
All right. So, Aldo, I'll give you the choice. Do you want
I
to
yield back my time.
Do you want to go last, or do you want me to go now?
Passes off the conch.
I'll go last.
Okay, so I'll go. This is Zoe speaking for the DH. Chicks dig the long balls, beat it, nerds. No one wants to see some idiot stand up there and not care and whiff on balls. They bet 0.98. Who gives a shit? People like home runs. That's what pays the bills. Screw you, DH all the way. And
You read that off a 3x5 index card.
Yeah.
That's actually a prepared statement, wasn't it?
That was on. It was in the back pocket that he wrote today.
That's how I work. That's how this brain never stops. Never stops. Sometimes it's dumb brain, but sometimes it actually comes out good. So K-Fits,
Stupid.
You got
brain.
2 minutes. Your time starts. Meow.
Well, I think removing the DH is typical of American society today because we're actually, again, not advocating for individuals to handle their own business, instead deferring it to somebody else with victim blaming or shaming others for failing to do the job in which they're asked of, which is to play 9 innings strong and to handle both sides of the baseball, whether you're on the offensive or defensive end. The next thing you know, we're going to be having offensive basketball players that take the ball from half court, only shooting on one end of the court, while then we defer to the defensive end of the court so that somebody else will do the job that you are asked to do. In other words, focus on your skill set. Like if driving in a run is part of your job, do it well. Don't take a nap like Hendricks does, but take pride in what you do. And there's a lot of great athletes that happen to be pitchers that were drafted as athletes, not pitchers, that can actually get the job done if they were encouraged to do it from the ground up. Same thing could also be said with the idea of a DH, simply just holding back the idea of somebody going out there and having a vested interest in not only protecting themselves, but protecting their teammates and having to answer for their failure to protect their teammates. A hitter has to go and step in the box, and the pitcher can go out and do whatever the hell he wants. And then the next bottom half of the inning, someone else is going to pay for his sins because he doesn't have to dig in there and stare down the same person now that is looking to go ahead and pay him back for his transgressions. So if we're going to get rid of accountability, if we're going to get rid of asking people to actually handle their business and be a well-rounded athlete, sure, go with getting rid of the DH. But if we're going to actually care about handling our business 100% top to bottom, both sides of the coin, there is no DH, and the DH is an abomination. And better yet, Crash Davis says, screw you non-DHers, or screw you DH fans, actually, but Crash Davis hates you.
Time.
And
wow. With Murica. Holy smoke, buddy. I like slightly buzzed whiskey Kevin. Holy shit. Did you just black out? That was like Frank the Tank debating on Old School. I just blacked out. What the hell happened? Yeah.
No one understands what you just said. And we are all now dumber for having listened to it.
And to bring it home for the team DH, Mr. Aldo Soto, your time starts. Meow.
I'm going to go all the way on the other side of this. All right. We need to get rid of the DH. So that means we're going to start baseball in the year 2019. No DH for both leagues. All those World Series that were won by American League teams and obviously NL teams that played in AL ballparks during the World Series and used a DH, those are all invalid. Those are all taken away. Like, what is it? Since baseball started in the 1860s, none of it matters. That entire history is erased. We're starting MLB baseball in 2019, year 1. Or 2, no DH. I don't want any more relief pitchers. If you're a starting pitcher, you start the game, you end the game. I don't want a guy coming in and taking over starting pitcher, because why should he get another replacement if there's no DH? We don't need relievers either. So let's just go all the way extreme with it. That's it.
I like it.
Hey, let's get rid of pitch counts while we're at it.
Yeah. No,
all the way.
Strikes. Make it hit the ball. No more strikeouts.
Right. MLB, first year, 2019. That's when it starts.
You're no longer out. You're hugged. Because you're no longer on the disabled list. You're on the injured list.
You're on the injured list.
That was
too. So you're not out. You're hugged. And when you're safe, you're special.
No, we're going the other way. You have to. You can. It's like dodgeball now. You can throw a baseball at guys if you want. If there's like a ground ball back at a pitcher.
Rob Dibble's digging.
Could you imagine if they allowed that? You can now peg the runner.
Here's the thing. It doesn't make sense because
like literally third base coach just do this.
It needs to be one way or another, because in what other league do you have like one conference has a completely different set of rules than the other? So either have the DH or don't have it.
That I can agree. I agree with that.
It's like it would be like in let's see what in the NHL. If you're like, all right, you're the goalie. Oh wait, no, you have to start the second period as a like left winger or something.
Right. I mean, I think it'd be like the NFC and the AFC if like, the center was eligible for a pass in like the NFC and not in the AFC or something. I mean, like,
it's like, oh, you're in the NFC, you can blitz on third down. If you're in the AFC, you can't.
I'll say this.
Go ahead.
I'm resigned to the DH. I'm resigned to it. I feel like it's going to end up happening. I'm not a fan of it, obviously. But I do feel like the one thing that separates baseball, and again, this is where the real purist comes out. I do believe in the unwritten rules of baseball. And I won't apologize for ever believing that those are important, because I believe that baseball is the one sport that we have. I know, again, go ahead and Zoe, start saluting. Because I believe that baseball is the one sport that is more American than anything else that we have. I believe that it's a microcosm of American society today. It's the only sport that I believe actually captures the length of our lifespan and the patience that we have to exude chasing the American dream slowly but surely. That's some of the things that I love about the game of baseball in the first place. Like, I love basketball, I love football, but it's not the same concept to me. And I believe that what happens in baseball generally ends up happening in society. And I think that when we start, again, we go to the replay, we want the quick answer, we want faster games, we want, the beautiful part about baseball that I've always been taught is it's the fact that there is no clock. Correct. There is no clock. There is no time for us to stand aside. The game will
so you have to take off your hat. You're being
there's a winner declared. There are no ties in baseball.
Well,
next thing you know, we'll have the universal
Kevin, you're exactly right. And I did this all last season without you. The unwritten rules. How many times do we talk about the unwritten rules throwing at players? I feel exactly the same way. What other sport gives a statistical nod to the player that sacrifices, right? A sacrifice bunt does not count against your average. You are celebrated when you sacrifice, right? The same thing with those getting the calls accurate. There's a part of baseball that is imperfect. The game is imperfect. Humans are imperfect, right? So that's the beauty of the game. You have to, as a player, you have to deal with it. When you get a ball or a strike called on you to go down 0-2 or 1-2 and you didn't like it, you can't go and change it. You can't protest it. It's there. It changes the dynamic of the at-bat, and you have to come out of it. You have to find a way to fight. That is life, right? That's life.
As humans, we fail more than we succeed. And a game where you fail 3 out of 7 times and you're a Hall of Famer is a perfect microcosm of our experience before we expire. And
all right. Thank you for your service, guys. All right, let's move on here
America
to actual baseball news.
Baseball's problems.
Oh wait, sorry. Oh
it would have been a good time to transfer into Ricketts, because I'm sure he's sitting there nodding at most of your shit. But let's talk about
Joe Ricketts hates baseball.
Yeah, that's true. He hates a lot of things, but we'll get into that in a minute. So JT Realmuto, arguably, I would say easily top 3 catchers in the league.
He's number 1. He was number 1.
Well, according to the Phillies, he's number 1.
Well, number 1 offensively or in defensive value too?
I don't know. If you were starting a team and you had to pick a catcher,
you'd pick Realmuto.
Okay, so Miami finally pulled the trigger. This is probably the biggest. Everyone's been waiting for this. I mean, only Manny and Bryce storylines are probably ahead of this, but the trade finally happened on Thursday. Miami sent JT Realmuto to the Phillies for catcher Jorge Alfaro.
Alfaro.
I was so close.
You're doing really well with names today.
Prospect Sixto. I love that guy's name. Sixto Sanchez. That's kind of that's the key piece. 6'2". Will Stewart and international bonus slot. So they gave up a lot. 6'2" is the number
21, I think, or top 25.
Top 100 prospects, he's ranked number 27. He's the number 7 overall right-handing pitching prospect. He grades out at a 55 overall with a 75 grade for fastball. Kid's got gas. I've seen some very weird Pedro Martinez comps. He has never pitched higher than high A ball. But it looks like Miami is going to put him right into Double A. So he's going to be starting the season with the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp. Solid name. So I don't know. I mean, this is one of those situations where I think it's fair to say both teams did pretty darn good here. I mean, Miami obviously weren't expected to win anything this year, and for them to load up on 3 solid prospects, get some international bonus money, that's a huge form of currency now in the current landscape of Major League Baseball. And then Philadelphia, who seems to be making a run for it, get arguably the best catcher in the league. So, I mean, both teams in different situations, but both teams get pieces they need to accomplish what they're trying to do here in 2019. You guys got anything on this trade?
Well, this trade, Real Muto has been rumored to be in trade talks since last season. So, to your point about this being one of those big dominoes to fall, one of the major markers, I guess, in the trade market, free agent market, and just general movement, it's a big deal. And this is a pretty fair deal, I think, for both. I think for the international money, I don't think, and we're all about facts here, but I don't think the Phillies were hamstrung by any kind of penalties. They didn't make any big signs that come to mind. So, if the Marlins scouting department, evaluates someone super high coming up in the next few years, it's a good move. 6'2" is really good. He was a major name around the Phillies organization that I had heard about that were like almost untouchable. Alfaro, his stock fell a bit, but there were a bunch of other names that the Phillies were not interested in sharing, and there were some pretty big names. Their first round pick last year, Alec Bohm, Mickey Moniak, who was the first overall pick in 2016, I think, or 2017. And then their first round pick from Virginia in 2017. So, yeah, outfielder. Mm-hmm. So, those are some pretty big names. But you know what? They're at that point where 2 years of Real Muto is worth it, and maybe they can extend them. If they pick up Manny or Harper, man, they're a dangerous club because they got a pitching staff. They just couldn't hit last year.
Selfishly speaking, as a Cubs fan, I'm just glad that the Reds didn't trade for him because, I mean, they've already made a couple of big moves in the offseason, and as we saw they're just projections, but I mean, they still have a pretty good offense, and if you add Real Muto, that's scary lineup to go through. Like, I mean, times a year, but
I just really feel bad for those people down in San Diego. Really feel bad for those people.
Kevin, you were talking about it before we started recording, how you thought during the start of the offseason, how the White Sox would be that, we're going for these guys, but not actually making aggressive moves. And that appears to be the Padres. Yeah.
Well, the funny thing, too, is you've got, again, this stuff, we talked about this, too, how nobody was talking about the Phillies getting Realmuto. It was the Dodgers first, right? They were freeing up cap space. They were going to make a big trade. It was the Reds, even the Padres. And all of a sudden, like today out of the blue, it's the Phillies. No one's been reporting that. So that almost like lends credence to the idea that we know nothing.
We know nothing.
And nothing. The offseason of Icarus forever. That everyone flies too close to the sun. And these trades, it's going to be some random ass team is going to end up with Harper. It's going to be someone like
it'll be San Fran.
Yeah, it'll be like San Francisco, who just what?
Mm-hmm. And Giants came out of nowhere. Giants had a meeting with Harper, and the latest thing here to get everyone all fired up is our favorite Twitter reporter Hector Gomez had quote tweeted a tweet about Manny Machado, and he just said, "According to my sources, this will happen." The tweet that he quoted was about Manny seeing all the deals that came. Nothing really came that he likes, so he's just going to kind of settle for the White Sox offer.
I'm going to feel really bad for two guys. Well, I'm not going to feel bad, but they're going to have hell to pay if Machado doesn't sign with the White Sox. Obviously, one is going to be Rick Hahn, and two is going to be Hector Gomez. Yeah. Because right now, everyone is in a great honeymoon phase with Hector Gomez. You see every tweet of his like, "Oh, Hector's our guy. Hector's been loyal. He's a really trusted reporter. He's been there since day one." And the only reason the Sox fans are saying that is because from the beginning, he's like, the Sox are in. The Sox reportedly they offered him the 8-year, $250 million deal, according to his source. And he's been saying for like the past month, the Sox are the favorite. And my sources are saying that the Machado is going to sign with them. So everyone loves them, some Hector Gomez on the south side. But
everybody wouldn't know who in New York until signing with the Yankees.
Right. So
Daniel,
can we enter the InfoWars segment?
What do you got, Nuke?
All right. So I started thinking, which is always dangerous.
Dangerous.
When we're talking about like, Bryce Harper landing like somewhere like totally random, like San Fran. Like, really? San Francisco? And I'm like, Toronto. What if he landed in Toronto? What if he landed in Boston? And then I thought, what if the Angels go for broke on him? You're going to have an outfield with Ohtani, Trout, and Harper.
Oh.
What
Decent.
if?
It's all right.
I mean, they have to do, and they have
only one of them can pitch.
And they have
Harper's
like
going for a two-way.
They have come up in the past where like at the end they're revealed to be like, oh, they were like in on whoever at the end. So it wouldn't be out of character if they all of a sudden.
What if Harper takes that takes that 5-year deal? Because if the Angels, well, I don't know how long they have Ohtani for, but I think it's decent.
Well, I think it's still 5 more years.
It's 5 more years, right? Okay, 5 more years. They've got 2 more seasons of Trout. If they bring him in, if they bring a guy like Harper in on a 10-year deal with options starting at 5, how much does that entice Trout to stay there?
And isn't the rumor that Harper would prefer to be on the West Coast or close to Vegas? Is that even true?
I mean,
I think it's still the most money,
me.
Right? Right? It's still just whoever is going to pay him the most.
Probably.
It's always money.
Yeah.
But I mean, like they're saying 10 teams are in on him. And based on the way this offseason has gone with reporting, I mean, it's like basically don't believe anything you hear. And if we're not hearing anything, I'm starting to believe what I don't hear is more of what's happening.
So
exactly.
Non-conservatives would say this offseason is like watching an offseason, like 3 months worth of like corporate news. Like you're basically screwed. Anything that you basically listen to that makes you feel happy, you're gonna support them. They're the best reporter I've seen. They're Pulitzer. Give it to them, baby. Because they said that Bryce Harper is coming to the Diamondbacks. He's the best there is, and don't doubt them. And
I mean, that's another one. I could make a case for Arizona, right? Couldn't you?
Nah, they're like selling guys off.
Throw a dartboard, make a case for every team in the
Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay's in them.
Oh, you mean the Las Vegas Devil Rays? I don't know. Make that happen.
So, wait,
what if it was Anaheim? That to me is like that's a team that needs to compete now. They're kind of like San Diego where they got to push to do something. Their pitching staff was banged up last year. They still need pitching. I mean, they're going to pay. I mean, between if they got Harper at that anticipated $35 million a year with, I mean, that's $70 million with Trout for the next 2 years of your payroll is just 2 players.
But isn't winning 1 in those 2 years worth all that?
Is it worth it? And you can always trade players. You right, and you can trade them. And you know what? And in 2 years, I mean, like, you're probably going to lose Trout to Philly.
Can you imagine a Trout Harper back-to-back in a lineup? That's not.
Well, who do you hit? Game? Well, I mean, imagine what Harper can do with Trout behind him, because I think that's the way it would go.
Or vice versa. It's
baseball is going to eventually then have to ban intentional walks to go along with the no DH, because people will just hey, we're going to start this inning with guys on first and second, nobody out.
But then you have Ohtani.
I said I was meaning in Philly.
Oh, right.
Never mind. Jeez, that would either way.
Or they'll just move the mound up.
They should. It'll be actually 7 feet high.
These hitters are too good. We're just going to drop a ball over top of an L screen.
It's like soft toss now from a very high top.
So that is
extreme downhill hitting.
That is your update on the rumor mill, and the update is no one knows shit.
We didn't even talk about Machado, did we?
It's
Not
just
really.
Hector, and then that one guy that has like 165 followers.
Hey man, he had a good feeling,
Hector,
just like you did
stop
about Jock.
hectoring us.
Yeah,
He's going to end up in the scrap heap if it doesn't happen. It's
Him and Dan Clark.
and it's funny. Hector 10 hours ago posted a picture of him and Manny and a couple other players arm in arm.
And he changes his profile photo frequently, doesn't he? I think he's trying to like.
That's the current photo. Like, hey, I know Manny.
I have a question for you guys. This is what I was thinking about today. If Manny Machado had Scott Boras as his agent as well, how do you guys think this offseason would play out if Boras represented both superstars?
I don't think either would sign until May.
Well, he's kind of in a similar slot because isn't Keuchel his guy too? It's like, and isn't Keuchel like, well, he would be like what, the second biggest starting pitcher on the market?
What, after Corbin?
Yeah. So like,
I mean,
he kind of
I
has a
think
situation where he's balancing two guys who haven't signed yet that are.
I meant the two offensive guys though. The two
off, right? Exactly.
Like if it was,
yeah. I mean, that would be you'd basically be like negotiating against yourself as an agent.
No, right, exactly. And think about that. I mean, like if it was, and like you can even distinguish Machado as an infielder versus Harper as an outfielder. You know, there's different ways to negotiate and all that. But I think like imagine if he had like Harper and Trout in the same year, and it was like,
who would he value more?
Bryce, you're my guy. But seriously, Trout's better. I don't know.
Yeah, that would.
You want both? Maybe you can get a discount. I don't know.
Bryce, we're going to do a Twitter poll real quick, and then we'll decide who's going to negotiate first.
Wait, did you guys see Hector Gomez's last tweet?
Oh, no.
No, God.
No, it has nothing to do with Machado. It has nothing to do with the way you get. But
did he watch that organizing show on Netflix?
It's a Chicago connection. I don't know if he interviewed Alfonso Soriano or where this quote is coming from, but Soriano is on the LeBron versus MJ debate.
Oh, no.
And this is a quote from Soriano. LeBron James is an extraordinary player, but I understand that Michael Jordan is the best of all time.
As long as he understands, we're good.
There you go. You heard it here from Soriano.
He just got – that's more clickbait. That's like a whole other dimension of clickbait in Chicago.
Who's all these pictures?
You bring in the Jordan debate, and then you bring up Machado.
I'm trying to – I can name 3 out of the 4 players in that picture with Hector Gomez, his profile picture. It's Robinson Cano, Nelson Cruz, Manny Machado. Who's the dude in the middle with the heart on his shirt?
It's Hector.
That's the wrong Hector Gomez.
I don't know who the guy in the middle is.
No, Hector's the dude in the suit, right?
I want to say that Jose Reyes. I don't think that's Jose Reyes. I don't know.
No. Jeez. Here we go.
Yep.
No, that is the wrong Hector Gomez too.
It's Hector Gomez 27. Or H. Gomez 27.
Yep. And when did he first put that picture up?
All right.
Oh, jeez.
I'm just curious. I want to know if like he's like doing some weird like flex or like this actually just really happened recently, or because he tweeted it 10 hours ago and I don't know what the hashtag says. It's in Spanish.
Oh, you know what? No, that definitely is Jose Reyes.
Oh no, the hashtag is new profile picture.
Yeah, it just says new profile.
And I don't think that's Robinson Cano.
On the left?
On the left,
think that
no.
is. Cano, Nelson Cruz.
Good radio.
That's definitely Jose Reyes, and that's Machado.
This is good radio. People can't see the
Right.
picture we're talking
By the way, I don't think that's a recent picture either because Machado.
No, that's very right. Machado's hair is shorter.
Did the Z Cavaricis give it away?
This is great radio.
Great. That was awesome radio. So I think we just borrowed a segment from Big Cat. That was bad radio 101 right there. So I don't know. Do you guys even want to talk about the old racist white dude being an old racist white dude?
Bad look.
Bad look.
bad tough look.
No one is surprised.
Yeah.
Terrible look. I mean,
the offseason of bad PR for the Cubs continues.
Yes. And the whole seeing the thing at the Cubs conference and just it's just shit, dude. It's just really
Can I
bad.
say one thing? I usually don't weigh in too much on the Cubs, but I saw a lot of Cubs fans saying that this is hard for them to even root for the team, which I was pretty surprised by.
Did you
I
see
mean, it was offensive what he wrote, but
the dude has absolutely nothing to do with the Cubs other than the fact that he gave his kids the money to buy something. I mean, it has a lot more to do with probably what Tom Ricketts is doing, because it allows someone to take a dig at somebody else that's moving on in the political spectrum. But I mean, the fact is, I mean, Aldo, you'll say this too. The Cubs are one of the most progressive organizations in baseball. I mean, I know, again, it gets a little political, but they're one of the most LGBTQ friendly franchises in baseball. They are always working out in the community. They've done a great job of being open, and because they are run by a collective of siblings who probably grew up under the fist of this dad, they're who they are now. Of course, more, one's a governor, I think, right, of Nebraska.
Yeah.
One's obviously raising funds for Trump, but then there are the others that are going on, secret boss or hidden boss, and obviously the sisters does a great job. Right? I don't know. I feel like
undercover.
Rahm Emanuel's opportunity to take another pot shot at the Cubs because of their Republican connection, and it's a chance that some people can take shots. I've seen more social justice White Sox warriors over the last 24 hours, 48 hours than I've ever seen in my life. The same people that 5 days ago were tweeting certain things that I would never even show my father, and now all of a sudden they're upset about something that.
It's just low-hanging fruit for White Sox fans. And I mean, like, this is typical. I mean, like, Cubs fans kill the White Sox on everything. So this is their one opportunity to do it. I mean, like, it's wrong. It's good that the Cubs, I'm not sure which Rickett came out and said that he has nothing to do with the team. This is not anything we do. I mean, I was just surprised that some fans were very public about it, and I think even some columnists, that's the thing. I guess people from Indian backgrounds were like, "Nah, not down with it anymore."
Because even though Ricketts, even because Joe Ricketts doesn't have anything to do with the team, no matter what, he's always going to get attached to the headlines, and it's. Because there's more.
This is the second time, right?
Yeah, this is the second batch of emails that were leaked by I think it was Splinter News.
Splinter News, yeah.
And they're gonna keep. There's gonna probably be another one, and every time it's gonna be the headline: Cubs owner says something fucking horrible. So
well,
technically speaking, he owns the Cubs. Like, obviously, he just sold I think it was 40% of AD Ameritrade to give the money to his kids so they can be on the board. Right. So technically speaking, we're going to semantics.
Could he recall that to his kids?
Right.
Yeah, totally.
I'll put it this way.
But it's just more bad PR, and in off season's just been horrible. And then
not rooting for the Cubs because of something that the father of the children who are running the organization says is like saying you'll never ever take Bayer ever again, because the company was founded on Nazi testing. Now, how many people take Bayer? You still taking Bayer today? Will you not take it because of something that someone way far down the line that's not actually anything to do with what the company stands for today says?
Now, I haven't read too much. I admit that I have not read much on this Ricketts thing, but I guess the only, and maybe this defense is being thrown out there. I could see it where it's like, I'm not giving this old racist white guy any more of my money. Not in merchandise, not in ticket sales, not in going to Wrigleyville and buying beers. I will search far and wide, deep into the Ricketts portfolio of what they own, which is a lot, and not give this guy another dime. I will do my best to try and do that. I mean, it's the same thing that happened with the, was it the Clippers? The Clippers owner a few years ago? And I mean, he was the full owner, and that was egregious, and they forced him out of the league, forced him to sell the team. So
it just goes back to even when you go back to players and you have the whole Chapman thing, and then you have Russell currently.
Oh.
I mean, obviously not every player is going to be perfect, but it just goes back to the fan deck. You'd rather root for a guy, who doesn't beat up his wife. You'd rather your owner not laugh at racist jokes and spread
right.
The greatest fear of Muslims and Islam. You'd take that as how about a guy just email, like does an email chain of like dumb jokes instead of racist jokes. Like
the greatest thing that can happen to the Cubs is the Bears go out and sign Kareem Hunt next week.
Or hey, Tom, we need a distraction here. Sign Bryce Harper.
Whoops, that's better. I like that one better.
That's what we were talking about before we went live. Just I could see Theo being like, "All right, can I do this now? Can I create a different headline? Can I?" Yeah.
Did Theo leak the emails?
Probably. It's like you're not going to give me my money to go get Harper.
By the way,
some emails.
I was on this chain, dude.
Kansas City Shuffle. Everybody looks over here. Theo's over here doing his thing. Bryce is ready for that 2-year deal. Come to the Cubs. Let's go. I've been vocal. I want Bryce Harper to go to the Cubs. It'd be good for the show. White Sox get Manny. Harper goes to the Cubs. Let's go. That'd be beautiful.
Valentine's Day, Philadelphia.
And then one last thing here before we wrap it all up. Just because, the man deserves it. We got to say a shout out, little rest in peace. Baseball lost one of the greats. Frank Robinson, 2-time MVP, Hall of Famer, first African-American manager in Major League Baseball, passed away on Thursday. I've never seen one bad thing ever written about Frank Robinson.
Yep. Yeah, he was great to listen to, and great player.
Yep.
Sad day.
My first memory of him was as a manager.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty cool. Is obviously to be missed. I didn't know much about his playing career, but seemed like a great guy, great player.
Yep. And the testimonials and stuff that have been coming out from people just talking about him, people that knew him. Manny Machado put up a Instagram post about it. Picture of him with Frank just saying, thank you for everything you taught me and all that stuff. His impact on the game that we all love, that we get to talk about and all this stuff is huge. So rest in peace to a real one, Frank Robinson.
Frank Robinson is quoted with saying, "Close don't count in baseball. Close only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades."
That was him.
That was him.
Great quote.
I say that all the time.
At least the Google machine says that.
That's what the Google machine interweb says.
The Google says it. It's in. It's done.
It's fact.
So, all right. Does you guys got anything else before we call it show?
Credit us, MLB. We solved all your problems. Bud Light, sponsor us at least.
Seriously, if anybody that listens to the show works for Anheuser-Busch, do the right thing.
Is tap that keg even like a common phrase? I know I never heard it until I watched Zoe.
Well, if their next campaign comes out with that quote that we use before we go on the air, then we really know that Bud Light has pilfered.
Yep. They have.
Thought crime.
They have stripped us.
We have bigger problems. Someone's hacked our chat. So.
Yeah, basically. And it can get weird.
Well, fast. We started the whole Trout trade talks last year. All of a sudden, everybody wants to talk about Trout trades.
Yeah, what can
influential, mandatory listening for people in the.
You had Philly Gritty first a week before that was announced.
That was literally like, we did Philly Gritty. I am Philly Gritty.
Somebody that works at an ad agency listens to this show. I'm convinced now.
Somebody important.
But Bud Light, all we want is like a sponsorship, maybe some free tickets. We're not talking like $1 million.
We'll take a sponsorship.
Yeah.
Listen, I'll put stickers on my nice torpedo of a microphone here.
Free beer.
I think the Angels are broadcasting. I think the Angels are broadcasting like 30 spring training games. We're gonna see those split screen like in-game ads or in-game commercials during game action.
Yes, we are.
We have a timestamp on this, mind you. It's live. It's timestamped. So our ideas are now copywritten.
The Sun-Times, like a month after we said that Madden was going to go to the White Sox in 2020, they wrote about it.
Started a column, yeah.
We are accepting applications.
We will congratulate ourselves.
We are accepting applications to be the Pinwheels and Ivy show lawyer. We're not going to pay you, but if we win shit from Bud Light, you can have some of it.
Like a belt.
Yeah.
Nicky Delmonico had a Bud Light belt on.
Yeah. That was pretty dumb.
Oh, we skipped over the White Sox signing a free agent outfielder. It's on
Brandon
Guyer. Woo!
Oh yeah, big move. And Pacoda really moved the Pacoda needle.
Does the Guyer
70 and 82 or something like
Guyer
that.
move fall into the 3 or 4 moves that Han said he had coming?
Probably.
That
So you get 2 to 3 more.
A move is a move.
All right. Well, for K-Fids, Matanuco, Aldo Soto, I'm Matt Zwaski. They call me Zoe. This is the Pinwheels and Ivy podcast. We will see you next week. Take care, everybody.
DH to the